Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer2Buzzer. All right, guys. So the fifth week of the 2020 NFL season has officially elapsed. And boy, was it quite the interesting and fun week to watch. Many games which we weren't expecting to be this good went pretty good. So, like we do every week, we're going to be reacting and providing our post-games analysis. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, guys. So the first game we're going to be talking about is going to be the one between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears. Now, guys, the Chicago Bears moved to 4-1, winning against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers 20-19. Nick Foles getting another W against TB12. Now, guys, it was quite the ending with the Bears just coming back in the nick of time with that field goal, and Nick Foles, and a great duel between Nick Foles and Tom Brady. Our thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I want to start off here. It's not like I kind of expected this from Nick Foles. Nick Foles is probably the greatest quarterback to ever live in this. No, I'm just joking. But Nick Foles, okay, this man is probably one of the most clutch quarterbacks, right? No matter how he plays in the beginning of the game, right? Our offense wasn't too well. They didn't play too well in the beginning. He came up at the end time, right? He came up clutch. One thing I got to say about the Bears, though, our offensive line is absolutely terrible. And if we want to win games in the future, we're going to have to protect Nick Foles better. Obviously, Tom Brady had that kind of brain fart at the end, forgetting which down it was. But I expect Tampa Bay to bounce back. Yeah, no doubt. The Bears are contender now for sure. This game settled it.
Aaron, you keep saying, or you mentioned that Nick Foles actually carried the Bears, but I think the defense did like a hell of a job. Khalil Mack absolutely destroyed that Buccaneers offensive line, which I thought was actually better. And then Kyle Fuller with that tackle to a fumble that led to a fumble. That was huge, shifting the tide in the game for sure. I think that's the reason why they won. Their defense was just like insane yesterday. So yeah, I think the Bears defense is like in its prime, not in its prime, but still an elite defense. People have to realize that. And I think, yeah, they definitely have a good shot for making the wild card.
Wild card or even possibly the first seed. You never know, man. We're going to find out in near Thanksgiving break against the Packers. But this game, give the credit where it's due. We all had the Buccaneers, unfortunately, being hometown Bears. It just hurts me that we didn't have that belief in the Bears at the beginning. But, man, seeing Allen Robinson have a show, although he didn't get a touchdown, going for nearly 100 yards reception. Nick Foles being Nick Foles, looking like he's ready for this position, although last game against the Colts, Justin adjusted. Arian, I'm going to say what you're saying. The Bears are looking like contenders with this game. Tom Brady, man, I think it was just a fluke. I think it's just something which comes with age. Every GOAT or every person has a moment where they forget. That last play, quite hilarious, but I'm just happy the Bears got the dub.
The Bears won a fantastic game against the Buccaneers. It was hard fought on Thursday Night Football, but I want to look at why the Buccaneers lost. So going into halftime, it was a close game. The Bears had just shifted the tide by getting 2 touchdowns late in the second quarter. But then going into that third quarter, the Bears' offense is known to not score any points in the third quarter thus far this season. And so it was the mental miscues by the Buccaneers that lost in this game. They had around 3 drives that stalled because of penalties. So for this Buccaneers team to be successful going forward, they got to cut down on their mental miscues. The amount of flags, especially on the one drive, they ended that drive on a 4th and 24 punt at the 50-yard line. That's unacceptable. And, Tom Brady was actually getting mad at his offensive line. But then for him to make a mental miscue that cost him the game at the end, it seems a bit hypocritical. Altogether, they need to play smarter football.
All right, guys. Now let's move on to our second game, which we predicted. And once again, all 4 of us were wrong. This being between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs, in which the Raiders, man, I think they're giving the right signals now, winning 40-32 in an improbable win with amazing performances from the running of the Raiders, along with Derek Carr, showing that he's a consistent quarterback as well. Guys, our main takeaways from this game.
I've been saying this for the past 5 weeks. Harsh has been saying this for the past 5 games. The Raiders are just so unpredictable. Like they lose to easy matchups, and then they beat like these crazy teams like the Saints and the Chiefs. I don't know how they do it, but I'm gonna say one thing's for sure, that if they stay consistent And at like the prime of their performance, the peak of their performance, the Raiders are a really good team. Like Derek Carr's, like he just has those like crazy like boom games where he just like beats teams like the Chiefs. And I don't know how they did that, but props to both teams, but especially props to Raiders. And I think that they honestly could be playoff contenders.
The one thing I noticed that recently has been, kind of been playing against Patrick Mahomes, right? I think defenses have figured out how to limit Patrick Mahomes. And we saw that in the Bill Belichick Patriots game, right? If you can only rush 4 and get pressure against Mahomes and you send 8 back to or 7 back to cover, that's a pretty good game plan. And we saw that with the Raiders, that was the exact game plan they used. Every play, they only blitzed 3 times during the whole game. And every play, they just bring 4 rushers and hope to get pressure against Mahomes, kind of fluster him a little bit and make him throw some improbable throws. But also, you got to give Raiders running game credit. Josh Jacobs, he got off to a slow start, but in the end, he had, I think, 2 TDs, 100+ yards. He played really, really good football, and that's the Raiders' formula to winning.
Yeah, when the Raiders win, they're a top 10 team in the league, and that's what they look like. And when they lose, they look like a bottom 10 team in the league. You eat 5 weeks in, we still can't get a proper read on the team. So it's going to be interesting to see them moving forward throughout the season, how they're going to play against different kinds of teams. But I think this game just proves to show that regardless of how each team is doing in the season, every divisional game will always be a 50-50 ball because these teams have played each other for so many years. They know what these teams are like, and it's always interesting to watch divisional matchups.
Exactly, guys. It's safe to say that we saw amazing performances from not only Patrick Mahomes, he had a 344 throwing yards, but also Derek Carr. Seeing him transform into an elite quarterback this season has been something special. Him throwing for nearly 350 yards, throwing for 3 touchdowns, and seeing that rush game slightly develop more and more with Josh Jacobs. It was quite interesting to see them pull off this upset. I think Chiefs fans do not have anything too much to worry about at this point. As we said before, the Raiders have this thing about them in which they can win stellar games and sometimes lose the easiest. And I feel like they can potentially capitalize on this throughout the next couple of weeks. But Chiefs fans, I think you're fine for now. All right, guys, now let's move on to our third game, which we predicted, that being between the Indianapolis Colts and Arian's Cleveland Browns. Man, the Cleveland Browns winning 32-23 with a heck of a performance from Baker Mayfield and the wide receiver core. Odell Beckham having another good game and Kareem Hunt getting involved in the running game as well. Now, guys, all of us did have the Colts winning except for Arian. Arian, take it away.
2 weeks ago, you guys said the Cowboys were going to beat them. Last week, Abi said the number 1 defense, Colt, was going to beat them. Man, I hope you finally realize that the Browns are a legit team. Even without Nick Chubb, their leading rusher, they're playing really well, really good football. Baker Mayfield has been turning the ball over. Hopefully he's all right. He was on the injury list. But this Browns team is a really good complementary football team. They play good defense, good running game, and off the running game, they throw the ball, which is exactly what Kevin Stefanski was brought in for. And I think that's helping out Baker Mayfield. And that in turn is also helping out the defense because, they're not gassed the whole game. And I really think this Browns team is going to be in contention for that division title or a wild card spot.
After this game, I got to say, I do respect the Browns as a team, but I don't know if I can respect Baker Mayfield as a QB just yet. It's not like he's doing like horrible. He's not having like a bad year or anything like that. I just want to see him play a couple more games because they're, like Arian said, their defense, their run game, and OBJ and Jarvis Landry stepping it up. That's what's making them win. And I don't think it's Baker Mayfield, but he is playing his part. He's doing a pretty decent job. Yeah, I just want to see like how he does in upcoming weeks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Baker Mayfield is doing just enough to help this team get by. It's surprising to see that this team has become a run-oriented team with the wide receivers they have and, the number 1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield. So it's interesting to see that Baker Mayfield is sort of taking the role of doing enough when the time comes for him. They run the ball a lot, and when they need him to make the throws, he'll make like his 5-yard, 10-yard throw and be a game manager. And that's what they need him to do. And if that's working, it's going to win them football games.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to take up East position right here. I don't know if I'm ready, Arian, to hop back on to the Browns wagon right now. But I'm going to give the credit where the credit's due, like always. Baker Mayfield throwing for 2 touchdowns, having those 2 picks as well, which was a bit scary at a point, but him coming over. OBJ having a good performance as well. And the main thing was I saw that game, the running game being developed this game with Kareem Hunt, him getting involved now with the Nick Chubb injury. It was nice to see the Browns finding some more rhythm, keep on building that foundation. But I was surprised that they managed to pull this off against the number 1 defense, that being of the Colts. And I feel like the Browns can definitely capitalize on this momentum for next week as well. All right, guys. Now let's move on to our fourth key matchup, which we predicted that being between the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, guys, the Seahawks at the very last moment managed to pull away this win with an amazing last drive against this Minnesota Vikings team who was 1-3, but now the Vikings being 1-4. Seahawks for the first time in franchise history going off to a 5-0 start. Guys, Abhi, I'm gonna start with you. Your thoughts on this game?
Looking at that game, it was a bit not scary, but the first two quarters, the Seahawks had nothing going for them, and the Vikings had everything going for them. So I was kind of scared as a Seahawks fan, but I had trust in my boy Russ, and especially the GOAT Rayon, who I'm talking about, DK Metcalf. This man, he's incredible, honestly. He's going to do a lot of stuff in the future. This year, he's proven himself. He's proven all the haters wrong. People are still going to hate on him, but, he's an elite receiver right now. But I do want to say, though, the Seahawks need to stop giving heart attacks to their fans. Every single game, it's so close. Last season, too, every game was so close. They need to stop making the game so close, and they need to start firing on all cylinders from the start. Because sometimes, like the Bears, they perform in the second half or something, and they need to stop doing this and play good from the start.
Well, Abhi, now you know how it feels like to be a Chicago Bears fan. Wait until the end, at the edge of your seat to see how he goes off. But I'm going to get in here and talk about the boy DK Metcalf. Once again, having a heck of a show. Almost 100 yards reception, 2 touchdowns. Man, start putting some respect on this boy's name. This guy, I'm going to say it this week. DK Metcalf, although he's a second-year player, he is wide receiver 1 of the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett, much respect to him as well. But DK Metcalf, the things he's been able to do this season, coming off these past 5 games, he has demanded that respect. And I'm going this week, he's the wide receiver 1. Russell Wilson, just being Russell Wilson. Although not sure about his MVP candidacy right now, one thing's for sure, DK a beast.
My thoughts. First of all, Russ is still MVP front runner. Okay, you can't say that he's not. But I got to give credit. DK Metcalf's a really good receiver. Obviously, he's probably the receiver 1. One thing I got to say though, their defense, 2 days ago was kind of suspect. Not gonna lie. The Vikings run game kind of went off. Adam Thielen had a really, really good game. Kirk Cousins had a surprisingly good game. Even though they still lost, there are signs of worry for the Seahawks because that defense did not look too well last night.
I think the worry amounts from that week 2 matchup against the New England Patriots. I think, that defense being such a sore spot on this team, and I guess we saw in the first 2 quarters, we was talking about, if the offense isn't playing as well as it can, up to its peak performance, they're going to lose football games. The defense needs to step it up, even in the slightest manner, in order for them to continue winning. 5-0 is impressive, but you have to be worried about the way the Seahawks defense is playing. I mean, you're letting this Minnesota offense, who's been struggling a lot early this year, to really come out and score and even take a lead for a large portion of the game. I think it's worrisome. And, you can't always rely on the offense to be one of the best in the league every game for every single minute. And I think the defense really needs to step it up here.
No, that definitely is true, Harsh. That's why, right now, even though they're 5-0, once they get to the playoffs, once they play the best teams in the league, I don't know how they're gonna do, frankly, because their offense obviously is really good. But if you look at every team that's a front contender for the Super Bowl or playoffs right now, they're all balanced teams. It's not like they have a great offense and a bad defense or vice versa. The Seahawks just have horrible defense. Maybe when Jamal Adams comes back or Quinton Dunbar comes back, they'll be better. But for now, they need to pick it up on defense.
All right, guys, and now let's move on towards our final game, which we predicted, that being between the Los Angeles Chargers and the New Orleans Saints. Now, guys, although the Saints did end up winning 30-27, Justin Herbert, that man having a career night, although he is just a rookie. First rookie to ever throw 4 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. Although the Chargers did blow a 17-point lead, guys, a lot of credit must be given to Justin Herbert. Let's hear about this game.
So before Harsh starts on his Justin Herbert hype train, let me just quickly say the Saints. I'm worried for the Saints. Even though they won this game without Michael Thomas, they really can't throw the ball deep at all. Drew Brees can barely throw past 10 yards. I saw for most of the game. The Saints defense did look pretty good. Now let me get to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's the next star quarterback in this league, no doubt. He reminds me a lot of Big Ben and Josh Allen. He looks very good. I did say that he would struggle against this game. He did prove me wrong. But credit to Justin Herbert. Getting thrown into the spotlight and just performing as well as he possibly could.
Yeah, for sure. That is what you said is entirely true, Ari. And Justin Herbert, man, that guy can play. He's incredible right now. I think he's on pace to win Offensive Rookie of the Year for sure. And the Saints, what you said too, it's evident that Michael Thomas, without him, like every game is going to be a nail biter. They're not going to like blow out any teams. As you said, Drew Brees needs Michael Thomas, and even without him, that's pretty surprising. When they came back from that 17 point deficit, and it's very good by Saints. And Justin Herbert, he's going to continue performing like he's been doing these past 5 games.
All right, guys. Abi and Arian, where were you guys at last week? I know Harsh is going to take it away with the emotion this week, but I'm just going to stay right here. Where were you guys last week? We predicted it. Justin Herbert, man, this kid's special as well. Just like I bought into the DK Metcalf hype, I'm buying in to the hype about Justin Herbert. This kid is showing so much. Just like DK, I'm riding on this man till the end. He has talent. The record of the Chargers is not representative of his skills. Sure, the Chargers, they're a young team right now with this young core with Justin Herbert leading the team. I feel like that 17-point loss is going to serve as a point to remember in future games. Justin Herbert's going to keep on going off, having a better career, and it'll be like you said, he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year as well.
Before I get on to Justin Herbert, I want to talk about the Saints real quick. They're one Alvin Kamara bad performance away from looking like a 16th best team in the league. They play average to mediocre football for most of the game. Their defense steps up every now and then, but it's all Alvin Kamara. This defense runs all through him. He's their wide receiver one. He's their running back one. I mean, you could even say at sometimes he's the reason why they have their drives going. They'll go 3rd and 8, and then he'll have a big play. I think the Saints really need to get Michael Thomas back, and hopefully it'll help them turn things around. But now let's get to Justin Herbert. First, it pains me as a Bears fan to see the kid go off the crossbar, at the end of the game. It's painful to watch, but, Justin Herbert. Last week, I remember Orion specifically saying that this was a Saints defense that's going to confuse the Justin Herbert, a rookie quarterback. No rookie quarterback that's confused throws for 4 touchdowns and no interceptions in the game. Yeah, his third quarter was a bit poor, but that's halftime defensive adjustments. That's going to happen in any game coming out of third quarter. Third quarter is statistically the least scored quarter in all football games. So that's understandable. He still played a phenomenal game. Mike Williams had a great game too. But, this is a time for a bold prediction. Today, on October 13th, 2020, I'm making a statement that if Justin Herbert does not win Offensive Rookie of the Year, I will take a pie to the face. If this man does not win Offensive Rookie of the Year, I will take a pie to the face. Because that is how much faith I have in Justin Herbert.
All right, Hart, so we got you down on the record, man. And
yes, sir.
Season is all done and over when the rewards are released after the NFL Awards show. Guys, I guess we potentially, hopefully not, because I want Justin Herbert to win Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. But we may have a special episode coming up. All right, guys. Boy, was it a great 5th week of the 2020 NFL season. A much more exciting week than all of us could have expected. But now it rolls around week 6. Expect our week 6 predictions video coming out soon. But up on the screen, you guys can see the cumulative record for all 4 of us, with Abi and Arian currently tied for 1st place, with me and Harsh tied for 2nd. As always, guys, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe. It helps us a lot. And comment down below your main takeaways from this week. What was your best game to watch? And are you excited for this upcoming week? As always, guys, take care. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.